Hey everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today I am joined by the lovely Sameera Mohammed, who is a homeschooling advocate and has an amazing story to share. Hello, Sameera.
Hi, Sarah. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for
I
inviting me.
I am so happy to have you here. I am so glad that we were able to connect, and I am so curious to hear all about why you chose the path of homeschooling. Please tell me your story and what inspired you to make this decision.
Sure. I am a mom of four kids, and my a little bit about my background is that I am an ex banker. I used to work for corporate banking before I left that, and yeah, so I was, any mom, like anyone can relate to you have kids, and then you look forward to putting them in school, and you look for a good school, and things were going fine until I realized that the schools were not up to what I was expecting. And so initially it was like, oh, this school is not up to that standard, which I had in my mind. So I changed school. And what was happening in the end, that I was just changing schools. And it was very stressful for the kids and for me as well. And I was like, why is it? There was something or the other. And I have nothing against any particular school. Let me just say that right now. But it's the schooling. It's the schooling that was kind of coming in our way of learning. And my kids have had issues around that. So I started looking into homeschooling. Until then, I had not heard about homeschooling at all. It's just like, undiscovered planet, maybe that, you don't know it exists there somewhere. So but when I did look into it, it was something that I thought, okay, we can try it out and work, and we'll see. If it doesn't work out, we can always go back. My kids were younger at the time; they were grade three, 9 years old, and but we looked into it. We just jumped in, and we never looked back. So, Alhamdulillah, it has been an amazing a journey full of memories. Now that we have grown up, my older two are have just graduated from university, and my younger two are still being home. They're still homeschooled. They're in grade 9 and grade 11 with and they're here in so we all live in Abu Dhabi. So it has been quite a journey, I would say. I mean, and it's not that we didn't have any challenges. Yes, we did. We came across a lot of issues around their learning styles, and the good thing about with homeschooling was that if there was a challenge, I knew what I had to do. I mean, I immediately knew there was a challenge, and I started looking for solutions. And we tried different things, and it was sometimes it was a hit, sometimes it was a miss, but it was always a learning curve as a family for us. So but I'm happy that I was able to do that for my kids, and those options were there available for them. The flexibility of homeschooling gave them an opportunity to look into their passion and their strengths, and each one of them is a unique person in their own little, their interest area. For example, my eldest son, who was passionate about, well, started out with just reading, but he wanted to just read specific books, so which was more related to history. And as we were homeschooling, we bumped into a history competition that normally happens in schools, and we tried it out, and well, he became a history champion over the years, and we traveled. So he qualified for with this team, qualified for championships. So we've been to European championships and Asian, so to Hong Kong, Berlin, Rome, and that interest led him to then carve out a career path for him, and he chose political science, and now he's looking into international relations for his master's. So, and my daughter is an enthusiast speaker. She talks about it, conservation and sustainability. That's where her major was. And I don't know if I can take the credit of getting all those beach cleanups and the other activities that we had done all throughout, the homeschooling years. So Definitely, I strongly believe that if the kids are given the flexibility and an option that they can pursue with their strengths, what they like, I believe that the weaknesses, and we all have our own weak areas, sometimes it's the handwriting, sometimes it's math, sometimes it's just memorizing facts or whatever it is. But when you work with the strengths, those weakness either gets better, or you just become a better person ignoring those weaknesses. So what if I'm not good at math, but I'm good at all these other things? And you're not stuck with that fact that I'm not good at this area, and so I'm no good. And
Yeah, no,
kids
I hear
these days
you.
have kids these days have low self-esteem because they are following a standard which is not sustainable, which is something that maybe, if you get an A in a subject, you're great. And if you don't, then you're doomed. Homeschooling also made me realize how important learning life skills were. And our focus was always education around what is important and what is practical and what is needed, not because of any brand, or because everybody else is doing it, let's do this. So it has been a very practical approach from my children. My younger two boys, they are very enthusiastic about scouting, and this is something that they wanted to do, and they're part of a scouting program, and they're learning a lot.
Cute.
uh, my youngest son, he is very creative. He loves designing digitally and otherwise. My second youngest is an engineer. I'm in making, and I don't know what he will end up as, but this is what I see right now. So he's our tech guy. Like if anything runs out, or any problem with the technology at home, he's the person we call
That's
him.
beautiful.
So, yeah, and those are things that they just learned. I mean, they just showed me what they are passionate about. He built a computer right from scratch, like putting together all the components, and he built it from scratch. So
Wow.
it was his greatest and biggest project, because we talked about it, and we also looked at, okay, what if it goes south? So keeping that risk of, okay, what kind of expense we're looking at, and so many things. So, but this trial and error and learning from your mistakes is the approach that you should be given. You should have the flexibility, and choosing your passion to pursue what you
Yeah.
like doing. And all this flexibility, Sarah, is impossible. Obviously, this is not the model what you have in a standard schooling
Mm.
system at the moment. So hence there are issues, because it's like asking a fish to climb, the trees. I
Mm.
mean, that is something, or vice versa, asking a monkey to go and, just live in the water or swim forever. Uh, it's going to exhaust. It's not going to work. And I've seen all these last more than nearly 15 years, and not just my own kids. I'm part of a homeschooling community in Abu Dhabi. I'm also now working as an academic advisor for a school that supports homeschooling and homeschoolers in getting their
Nice.
transcripts and stuff in the US. So I've seen thousands of students benefiting from this approach. Of course, post-pandemic, now we are a lot of people became familiar with this concept, who probably didn't even know, or maybe who were on the edge, started looking into homeschooling. A lot of them started homeschooling, because I have met so many of them who were, and we were actually, as homeschooling moms in the community, we were thrown at all these questions that came out from these desperate moms. And I do understand, I was there once, so the anxiety
You understand. Yeah,
is
you understand what they're going through. Yeah, I get that. I mean,
absolutely, the anxiety is the worst one, when you don't know what's going to happen next for your child as a mother. And at that time, I started my YouTube channel. I mean, just to because there were same questions, and my daughter actually, prompted me. She said, "Mom, you're saying the same thing over and over again." I said, "They're asking me the same questions, so obviously my answer is the same." So we
yeah.
decided to have like put all those FAQs in one place. And then if anybody needs, even now I use that, although I'm not very active, but I use that. I just send them the link. Okay, this is the homeschooling 101. You could just get your basic ideas there. And if you need more specific questions, then I can answer. So those things, so a lot of, I think, awareness happened around the time, and I'm glad that people got that opportunity to see it firsthand, that how it is. It might not work for everybody, but in my
Yeah.
opinion, one should give it a shot. They should give it a try. Um, and and again, this is my opinion, that I feel that there's a very short window for
Mm.
your kids to have this self-esteem that, yes, I am something, I'm good at this, and have their
Yeah, it's so
creativity.
important to build that sense of confidence in their skills. Yeah, especially from an
And
early
the
age.
creativity, having that creativity, continue to ignite. It's not like it dies out.
Right.
So I think it's about up to like 12 years of age. And then, after that, you're just, you're just
What you
following
see is
the
what you
system.
get.
You're just following orders. You're just following what you're doing. And like, man, okay, I'll do this because mom's saying, I will do
Right,
this.
right.
So there's a very short window. And I have always tried to empower mothers. I think mothers a lot of times just underestimate what they can do. And I want to, whenever I get an opportunity and a platform like this, I always try to highlight this, that you don't have to be a PhD in education to be teaching your own kids. Trust your trust in yourself. You taught him, the walking and talking and how to eat and how to. So yes, I do agree that, I'm also one of them that I can't teach math. I mean, I can never take that pressure of teaching math to anybody. So whenever there is something you need where you don't fit in and you need help, you can always, we've had co-ops where, moms come together and we do different activities with kids, so that they get their social exposure, and someone else who's good at whichever area can take up
Yeah.
that lesson. Then there are so many online opportunities available now post pandemic. There are even university level courses available for high schoolers to take from and avail. I mean, some are really cheap or they're absolutely free.
Mm.
So the availability of the options, not like when probably I was growing up, and then compared to what now we have, is sky's the limit. So it's not like you are teaching every single thing to your child, and
Hmm.
obviously you will feel that I don't feel confident teaching my son
Well, that is
science.
the kind of myth that people have with homeschooling, right? Whenever someone says, "Oh, I homeschool my kids," you immediately think the parent is the teacher. But you brought up a
Yeah.
lot of really important points throughout this episode so far. I mean, you've talked about the challenges that come with homeschooling and the fact that you wanted to find kind of the right system that works for your four children, and as well as the fact that you obviously, you yourself like have a career, you are an advisor, you've started this whole community, which is amazing. And I can see so much the passion that you have for homeschooling, and the fact that I love that you're not necessarily kind of dissing the conventional school system. You're just kind of saying this is what worked for you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
having said that and heard kind of about the challenges that you've shared today, I want to know, honestly speaking from the heart, what is kind of your favorite memory or favorite story or kind of favorite thing about homeschooling?
As a mother, Sarah, and I think all the mothers can relate to this. If you want your child to be happy, and I when I am someone who taught them how to read, and now they're reading books and books and books. By the
That's
way, we
so
have a
cool.
library. I mean, I'm gonna cry. it's 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 very heartwarming to see that so that
It's
you
okay.
you
Take your
were able
time.
to do that. You were able to do that, and you were part of their journey in learning that, or that those little moments when they struggled, but they got over their challenges. I mean, this is a process. I mean, being an adult, we deal with it every day. But teaching them how to, giving them the tools to handle life. Okay, there might be crisis, there might be disappointment, but how do you find your way, get up and move on. So I see that even with my adult kids now, that how they are, now they're working, or they're doing an internship. How do you handle challenges around that? How do you meet people, and how do you,
To life
different
skills that
kind
they've learned.
of. Exactly. So seeing all those little things, it started with, I know I taught them how to read, and they're reading books. So it's a feeling when my son answered questions and was declared a champion in history. Of course, although I don't take the credit of teaching him anything, it was all his passion. My daughter is impromptu. She would just, you put her out there, and she's going to put that stage on fire, when she'll talk about her statements about how passionate she's about sustainability, and just advocating young minds about what they should be doing, and what, not what they're doing right now, but what they should be doing and what they're capable of. It just warms my heart, because I mean, back then, like many moms would think right now, that I can't do this, this is a lot, I'm not skilled, I'm not equipped. But trust in yourself, just trust in yourself, because God made you the mom for these kids.
He
And
knew you could do it. Yeah.
the manual that he gave you is not with anybody else. Even maybe your sister cannot do, or do the same thing that you can do for your children. So have that trust, listen to them, and see what they're happy in, because you might be doing things, they might be doing things to keep you happy, and they're getting depressed. So this is very important, I think, in today's time, that we focus on their mental health, physical health, and that is beyond any grade, any diploma, any
100%.
accreditation. Yeah.
100%. Well, honestly, Sameera, you've made my job very easy today. Every single question that I could have ever thought of, you beautifully displayed it, and you shared such passion for just the fact that we can look at homeschooling from a different perspective. It doesn't necessarily mean that you don't fit in the regular school system. It just means it's a better way for you to educate your child as you do. And I mean, like, mashallah, you sound like your kids are thriving, and I'm so happy to hear that. You definitely get the credit for this. May I just say that, because they would not be where they are. No kids on the planet would be where they are without their parents, especially such doting and kind of passionate mothers such as yourself. So thank you so, so much for sharing your story with me today. And I hope that every mother out there who's listening to this does get encouraged to pursue homeschooling if that is something that works best for their child.
Yep. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sameera. And if anybody has any questions, of course, you guys can reach out to Sameera on Instagram, or you can check out her episode available across all channels on Around the Emirates podcast. Thank you so much.